Hello, I am Deborah Sanderson. I'm an artist, I'm a writer, I'm an SMP women's officer, and I am a committed activist, if I can say that, for the dismantling of weapons of mass destruction. And I believe in social justice for everyone, not just for the privileged few, which I've seen north and south of the border. It certainly does. One of the most frightening things I've had during the referendum and during the election, to send all of our fantastic SNP MPs down south to do their duty for Scotland, was the response when I was engaging with women, and they said to me, "Oh, is there an election on?" Yes. And I'll ask my husband how he'll vote. I'll ask my boyfriend how he'll vote. I'll ask my dad how he'll vote. We want women to be engaged. We want women to know that they're at the front line of politics. What is in your purse or absent in your purse is the front line of politics. How you manage your budget to feed your wains, that is politics. Yes, of course. But I will take note that Westminster are trying to make it as difficult as possible for people that are in vulnerable positions to actually vote. Not everyone's got access to media. Not everyone's got access to a computer. Not everyone's got the courage to think, will they find me out for A, B and C? They're frightened about it. During the referendum, we had yes stalls where we were helping people engage with registering for voting in the referendum, and it's followed through in the following election. There's a lot of people that are illiterate or just plain fear. So yeah, we need to help each other. So if you've got a neighbour, if you've got a friend, you tell them, come on, make your voice heard. It's not just for Scotland. There's deprivation in England and Wales as well, and we need to show the example of how brilliant and how compassionate and socially aware this country is. My feeling about the NHS in Scotland is that it is doing an absolutely extraordinary job against really fierce opposition. It's been eroded little by little by little. There is this case that I heard of at a women's conference. It was Women for Independence, and basically a department gets essentially bought over by a private company, and then they keep the staff on, but then they lower their grade, and so that they don't have to pay them as much money. So, and they also take on all of the equipment, the pre-existing equipment that's been bought by people of Scotland, people of the UK, and they don't have to buy it. And then, it's just little by little, it's just being eroded. And then you hear about someone that has got mental health issues, and because of all of the erosion of all of those infrastructures, they're not being contacted in time, and in the end, they go into crisis. And I've heard of that situation so many times. I've heard of grown men giving up their food and going into a food bank, and they haven't been able to actually afford the food bills and the heating bills. So they say, what can I eat right now? This happened in Mary Hill, and this guy went in and he got a can of beans, opened it up and necked it down because he hadn't eaten for three days. This is not 21st century, this is Dickensian. And calm, because I have to keep my calm. I have to keep rooted. Have to keep rooted to what this is about. This is about Scotland, absolutely, but it's about humanity and this human right to walk with dignity in life and not scrabble around and feel that you are nothing. Here's the thing. After the referendum, I cried for 3 days and 3 nights. It didn't look good. I had puffy eyes for a week. I had a broken heart, and I've seen grown men cry from this. But I thought a long and hard thought about why it was there wasn't enough. Edward Bernay's propaganda that is being actively used by Westminster. But more importantly, they have put Scotland into the position of codependency. We were beckoned back to the family of the UK. Don't leave us. We love you, really. We love your shortbread. God save Queen Victoria and all of that shite. But it's a dysfunctional family. It needs a social worker. We need to start thinking about being independent in our lives right now. We have to transform codependency in our mindset to independency. And that's the only way that we're going to do it. So I would say challenge, challenge, challenge. Ask questions, and if you don't get the answer, challenge again. And never ever give up, because you will regret it if you don't. Yeah, I'm not going to be codependent anymore. I'm independent. And by the way, despite my speech impediment of sounding like I'm English, I am a Scot, because this country reflects what I stand for. Okay, I feel that the greatest threat to social justice is the inbred institution of Westminster, frequented by Eton boys, Bullingdon Boy Club, who incidentally are, more than one of them, are cousins to the Queen. The Queen, a trillionairess, and yet she was really finding it hard to make ends meet, and so her cousin, Mr. Cameron, gave her £40 million from us to help her tide it through. So I think it's the Tories, I think it's the ruling classes that are the main threat. They are the main threat because they demonise and they split apart, and they use tactics of Edward Bernays, the grandfather of propaganda. I'm sure you're familiar with Edward Bernays. Look him up. Everyone look up Edward Bernays. That is how we have been manipulated in the fear campaign. Split people apart, demonise them, make them less than. Oh, they're not human beings, they're migrants. Oh, they're not human beings, they're refugees. Oh, they're not human beings, they are unemployed. Oh, they're not human beings, they're disabled. And now they've cut working tax credits in half, like death's scythe. And now low-wage people are no longer human beings. I think it's going to, there's going to have to be a tipping point in the collective consciousness of this nation. What I'd say is, I am in awe of your tenacity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Never give up. And as long as you never give up, I will never give up. And even if you do, which will not happen, Nicola, I'm never going to give up. It's for my children's children that I will never meet. It's for everybody's children's children whom I will never meet. Possibly.